Dative is back at it here to give everyone my final Game of Thrones Season 7 episode review video. Before I get to that, though, pretty important if you're not caught up to the point where I am and rewatching or watching Game of Thrones, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description for you. If that happens to be the case and you're not caught up, it would be my suggestion that you don't watch this video any further to avoid major spoilers. This will be Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 7, the Season 7 finale. The title of this episode is called The Dragon and the Wolf. This will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. Cersei, Daenerys, and their respective entourages all meet in the ruined dragon pit, and Jon and the Hound present the captured White to prove the existence of the White Walkers. Cersei actually pledges her assistance on the condition that Jon remains neutral and impartial between the queens, but retracts her support when Jon affirms he has already sworn himself to Daenerys and returns, and Cersei, because of that, returns to Red Keep. Brienne appeals to Jaime to make Cersei reconsider. Tyrion actually decides to go alone to confront Cersei, and when he gets there, he explains to Cersei that Daenerys wanted to destroy King's Landing until Tyrion persuaded her not to do so. During the conversation, he realizes Cersei is pregnant, and eventually, somehow, someway, at the moment, he had made Cersei reconsider, and Cersei returns to the parley with her entourage and agrees to send her entire army north to fight the White Walkers. Later, Jaime prepares to mobilize the army, but Cersei reveals that she lied and will not join Daenerys and Jon's cause. Now, Euron Greyjoy, who had claimed to be fleeing the threat of the dead, is actually revealed to have gone to Essos to transport the Golden Company, which Cersei will use to fight whoever prevails in the Battle of Winterfell, or the Long Night. And because of this, Jaime is just disgusted. You know, Jaime's a man of his word, he likes to think, and they banter back and forth, and Cersei's mad because Jaime talked to Tyrion. It wasn't Jaime's fault he talked to Tyrion. Bronn led him to Tyrion. He didn't know he was talking to Tyrion, but whatever the case may be, there's a certain point where Jaime turns to walk away, and the mountain gets in his way, and then he turns back around. He's like, what, are you going to have him kill me? And then Cersei kind of just sits there and then nods her head. And watching this episode live when I did back in 2017, I think it was, that was a crazy, unexpected moment that I'm like, no! Because Jaime Lannister is obviously one of my favorite characters on Game of Thrones. And then Jaime's like, I don't believe you. And then, you know, the mountain had when she nodded her head, he had withdrawn his sword, and I was freaking out, but he just walks past him and nothing happens. Like, whew. I don't know if that was a bluff or what was going on there, but that would have been a shocking moment if they would have killed Jaime right there at the end of Season 7. But so Jaime departs King's Landing, riding north alone as the snow begins to fall on the city. Daenerys' allies make plans to travel to Winterfell, and then Daenerys decides to travel with Jon Snow in hopes of garnering the popular support among the northern men, because they're not going to like Daenerys because of her, being the Mad King's whatever she is related to him. And then later, Theon seeks guidance from Jon Snow, who declares they both preserve Ned's legacy. Jon tells Theon that he is a Stark and a Greyjoy. He doesn't have to choose. So Theon decides to save Yara. Harag, the leader of the remaining Ironborn, the de facto leader, defies Theon, and the two begin fighting, and Harag is beating the shit out of Theon. And there's a point where he has Theon face to face, and he's like holding his arms close, and he like knees him right in the groin area, and Theon just kind of looks at him like, doesn't hurt. I don't know what Theon actually has down there anymore. I mean, if you have testicles, maybe those don't work. I don't know where his whatever. I don't know. But I would think if he still had balls, that would hurt. But maybe I don't know. Whatever. So Theon gets the upper hand because of that particular moment, and then he wins the battle. He prevails, and then the Ironborn follow him to his cause. Now, I don't know if Harag is actually dead. He's not moving when Theon and the rest of the Ironborn leave, but maybe he was just knocked out from the fight. But I don't think we see him for the rest of the series, so I don't know. All Theon did was punch him like 3 or 4 times, but I don't know. Sansa and Littlefinger discuss Arya's actions. Littlefinger advises Sansa to always assume others have the worst intentions and possible motives. And then there's a point where Sansa, has everybody go to like the town room or whatever it's called, and she summons Arya before the Lords of the North in a veil. And she says, you've been accused of murder, you've been accused of treason. How do you answer these charges, Lord Baelish? And watching this episode live, that was a mark out crazy moment. Like, what the fuck? They played Baelish. You thought like Arya and Sansa were going to go at it and one of them would kill each other, but no, it was all a plan all along. And then, of course, Baelish is like, Lady Sansa, I'm a little confused. And she's like, what charges confuse you? And then they list all the things that Baelish did wrong. And you deny it? I deny it. And little Baelish is like, Lady Sansa, if we could speak alone for a minute. No. And then Sansa says directly to Baelish what he had said to her about sometimes I play a little game, and sometimes I'm slow but I learn and all that. And Baelish gets on his knees and starts whining, please, please, and eventually Arya walks by and slits his throat with the cat's paw, and that's the end of Lord Baelish, Littlefinger, whatever you want to call him. Crazy thing, I didn't expect that to happen in this episode, actually. Like, that kind of came out of nowhere, I guess, because I should have saw it coming. Because, like, why would you trust Littlefinger when you didn't trust him at the beginning of the season, and all of a sudden you do? I don't know. But it was a pretty awesome moment, that's for sure. And then we have Sam Tarly, his quick journey from the Citadel. He arrives at Winterfell with his family, Gilly and little Sam, and he sees Bran. And he's talking to Bran, and Bran says something like, I'm the three-eyed raven, I know everything. And Sam's like, oh, funny moment to me. And then Bran tells him that Jon needs to know the truth. I'm the only one that knows. That's another mark-out moment. And he tells Sam that Jon's real parents were Rhaegar Targaryen, and that Ned Stark wasn't his dad, and that Lyanna Stark is Jon's mom. And then Sam, and then he says his real name is, his last name is Jon. He's a Dornish bastard, so his last name is Sand, so Jon Sand. And then Sam reveals the information from the High Septon's journal. In secret, Rhaegar's marriage to Elyar Martell was annulled, and he married Lyanna in a secret ceremony. And he's like, is this something you could see? Which Bran should have been able to see this, because he can see everything else, but I don't know. They got to have some things. And then you see that Bran visits the vision of Ned and Lyanna at the time. Well, first he sees the marriage. And then, which is, they show, like, Rhaegal, and they show Lyanna Stark, which is awesome. Looks just like Viserion, or Viserys, I should say. Not the dragon Viserion, but Viserys. And then you see Bran at the vision of Ned and Lyanna at the Tower of Joy, and he finds out the whisper is Jon's real name is Aegon Targaryen. And simultaneously, you have Jon knocking on Daenerys' door on the ship, and Jon and Daenerys finally start getting it on and having sex and making out. And even though they're related, which is not the most interesting thing, but I mean, we've been waiting for it. I mean, we had a clue that this was the possibility that they were related. But so it's revealed that Jon is actually the true heir to the Iron Throne. It was an epic moment for a lot of Game of Thrones fans. As it had been speculated for years, and it finally was confirmed. R plus L equals J in this particular episode. And while Jon and Daenerys are getting it on, I'm not sure why they showed this, but they showed Tyrion standing watching the door from a distance, all mad. Like, if that was Jorah, it would completely make sense. But Tyrion being mad, I'm not really sure what that was about. If that was something that they wanted to pursue, but they didn't. So that's that. And then the end of the episode is the undead army arrives at Eastwatch and then like they have all the troops surrounding the wall, And then Viserion appears, ridden by the Night King and breathing blue fire. Tormund orders the Night's Watch to evacuate. Viserion breaches the wall with East Watch and destroyed in the attack. The wall is destroyed in the attack, and then you see the White Walkers and the Whites walk past the wall, and they're coming to Winterfell eventually, and to invade the Seven Kingdoms. And that's how the episode ends. So I really like this episode. I know some people don't like it as much, but they still like it. But I'm a big fan of it. As far as, obviously they speed up the pace a lot in all these episodes in Season 7, but it's this one and the last one especially. But I still love it. I love the stuff with Littlefinger. I love the stuff. Well, I was a little scared of this stuff with Jaime and Cersei, but I love the fact that I thought Jaime was going to die because I wasn't expecting that. And of course, I like the reveal with, Bran and Sam confirming R plus L equals J. So that was awesome stuff. So as far as the score, I'm going to give this episode a 9.8 out of 10. I'm not really sure why it's perfect. It was a little slow in the beginning, but we got a moment with all these characters together. And then my character of the episode, I had a hard time with this one. I love the fact that Arya killed Baelish, but she didn't really do anything else in this episode. So I'm going to give the character of the episode to Sansa because she orchestrated a plan to fool the shit out of Baelish, and now he is gone. Even though he's a great character, he's essentially one of the true villains of Game of Thrones. So you've heard me ramble, and you've heard what I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Game of Thrones, make sure you smash that like button. If you know anybody that would be interested in this video, or if you like this video so much that you want to share it to all your social media platforms, that would be great. I would appreciate it. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about your thoughts. What would you score this episode? And of course, who would you give the character of the episode to? Which is sometimes it's hard to determine who you want to give it to. It's kind of an eeny, meeny, miny, mo sort of thing. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, still trying to grow the channel, so don't forget to hit that sub button. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you know that JDev will return.